Most of what's labeled functional doesn't actually make you more capable. It looks athletic, it looks hard, and it looks impressive on camera, but that doesn't mean it transfers. Functional training isn't about how many movements you can cram into a circuit. It's not about the complexity, and it's definitely not about how tired you feel when it's over. Functional training is about whether the strength you build shows up outside the workout. Here's the problem. Most functional training today is just fatigue disguised as function. You see people standing on unstable surfaces, doing random combinations of movements, stacking exercises together with no real structure, chasing burns, sweat, and heart rate. Everything looks productive in the moment, but almost none of it builds anything durable. There's no repeatability, no clear progression, and no measurable improvement over time. And without that, you're just exercising, not training. Strength is the foundation of function. If you can't produce force on demand, and if you can't resist force when something unexpected happens, then it doesn't matter how athletic the drill looks. You can be exhausted and still be weak. You can be coordinated and still be fragile, and you can still sweat for an hour and not improve anything of substance. Real function has a few non-negotiables. First one being force production. Can you create meaningful and intentional tension against resistance? Not momentum, not bouncing, not cheating your way through reps, actual force. Second, force transfer. Can that force move through your body, from the ground to your legs to your trunk into your arms and your grip? If force leaks anywhere in that chain, function breaks down. Third is repeatability. Can you do it again tomorrow? Not just once when you're fresh, not just when the conditions are perfect, but consistently without wrecking your joints or your nervous system. Most functional workouts miss all three of these. They prioritize motion over tension, speed over structure, and novelty over progression. That's why people feel worked, but don't actually get stronger. And over time, that's exhausting because you're putting in effort without getting capability back. True functional training is boring at first glance. It doesn't look flashy, it doesn't photograph well, and it doesn't change much week to week. It usually shows up as carries that challenge your posture and your grip, and simple pushes and pulls under awkward loads. These movements don't rely on momentum, they don't rely on coordination tricks, they force your body to organize itself under load, and that's the point. Sandbags are a perfect example. They don't move clean, they don't balance for you, and they don't sit where you want them. They shift and they expose weak links immediately. If your core isn't doing its job, you'll know. If your grip fails, the entire system fails. If your posture collapses, the movement collapses. There's nowhere to hide from function. Calisthenics, when done correctly, work the same way, not by chasing reps, fatigue, or flashy skills, but by owning positions under control. The goal is to move your body through space deliberately. Everyone knows a perfect rep under control builds more function than 10 sloppy ones ever will. Function doesn't have to be chaotic. In fact, chaos is usually a sign that something is missing. Think of functional training as a control under constraint. Limit your tools, think clear patterns, and simplify your movements. When you train that way, strength shows up everywhere. It shows up when you're tired, it shows up when things aren't balanced, and it shows up when positions are not ideal. This sort of functional strength shows when you have to carry something heavy, when you're off balance, and you're under stress. That's the standard I train and I coach by. If your training doesn't make everyday tasks easier, safer, or more reliable, then it's simply not functional. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.